best way to communicate what we have been talking about would be to share personal stories of people here that were at the meeting this morning that want to share. And then we open it up to comments, questions, whatever else is going to be there. Is there anything else unless there's something pressing, we'll begin. Okay? All right. Well, what we're talking about is moving from the mind to the heart. And it's not an easy thing. And it takes courage to do that. And courage to listen to the heart and do what your heart tells you to do. And so we're going to share, starting with my brother Jim here, but we're going to, because I'm on his left side, we're going to have to pass this all around to keep that interview going.
I thank you so much for yesterday and for today, for meeting all my new family. Every one of us have choices of where we're going to go today. Yesterday we talked about the mind and the heart, the spirit. Today I want to honor all those elders that are on the wall, staring at us, feeding us, and listening to what we have to say. I'm grateful that they're there for us. And I love how hard they work to look at the words that they put on that wall to be given diversity, respect, kindness, community, pride, balance, tradition, leadership, accountability. What the elders talked about, that is true. They put a vision for us there to follow. It's the same as all our communities, First Nations communities, the Inuit communities, the Inuvialuit people, and all the people that have traveled the journey when the Spirit people cross to the Arctic and make their way to the four corners of this Turtle Island. The animals taught us to speak the language we know today, because our people used to speak only one language now. So our people wanted to divide themselves into all the four directions. Many animals walk with them, and so that they can teach the way they should follow this new life. Because long time ago, the animals communicated with humankind. As time went on, when the newcomers came into our land, they took all of that away. Our pipes used to be very, very powerful and strong. But in the north, when the newcomers started to come in, there was a huge ceremony happening in the north. And they said we had to put our pipes in. So those pipes got buried into the ground, deep into the ground. And they say one day they'll show themselves again. Now for the last maybe 15, 20 years now, my people are seeing these pipes coming out of the ground now. So our people are reuniting with their pipes. I'm very pleased and happy to see that. Because they say when those pipes come out of the ground, that's when the renewal of this Mother Earth is going to happen. Because all races of people around the world are going to become one people. And that's what we're working with today.
When I started, maybe 30, 35 years ago, is when I first started to wake up. And, you know, in 1 year after the government decided to pull out of St. Paul Island and Pribilof in Alaska, the government had 80% of the wage base and all the government subsidies for the store and power and everything else, and we were going to lose it in 1 year. And we had 100 documented suicides in a community of 600 people in 1 year. In the prior 100 years, we had no suicides, and we had one murder. And so this was quite a turning point for our people. And I was a community leader. And the very next year, I lost my wife and my children because we got a divorce. Then, quickly thereafter, I lost my job. I was a leader in the community. And then I lost my finances. My wife had been taking care of the bills in the house, and unbeknownst to me, she hadn't paid these bills for 3 months. So the IRS garnished what was left of my wages, and bank financing took my truck rather, and then my house roof blew off. It was winter time in March, and there was snow in the middle of my living room. And you know, these were all one after another within about 2 months period of time. And so I decided I would kill myself. And I walked, or rather drove to the end of the island. The island's only 12 miles long or 5 miles away. And I decided to give all that exists one last chance. I said, God, if you exist, show yourself. You know, ancestors, they say you're part of, in this land, you know, prove it. You know, that's what I was doing, you know, I was doing that. And then all of a sudden, you know, I decided if I don't get any affirmation back, I'm going to kill myself. I took one gun and one bullet out with me. And so I waited, and then all of a sudden I noticed this fog bank at the base of this hill. It's winter time, there's no fog banks anywhere, but there was one underneath this hill. And it started coming closer, and in the fog bank was a fox, an Arctic fox, calling out. It kept closer and closer, the fox's voice got louder and louder. Then all of a sudden it turned into a human voice and said, "Go back, go back." And the hair stood on end in my neck and my arms, and I jumped in the truck and went back about 70 miles per hour on this gravel road. It was like windy road, and I was just driving like a bat out of hell. And so then I went to sleep, and the next day I woke up. I went through the sleep of the dead. Then I woke up, and all of a sudden I felt like a totally different person. I was happy. I could feel the energy in the rocks again, in the plants again, the plants that were sleeping. It was wintertime. And I could feel energy in everything, to the point that, you know, that day I went out and played with the kids. And the town thought I was going crazy because they knew my story. But I was just so happy. I had lost my fear of losing my loved ones, fear of death, fear of losing security, all these kinds of things. And then I had my first vision. It takes a lot of courage to move from your mind to your heart. And, when I got to that point 30 years or so ago, I was literally at a place where I just surrendered it all, including all of my expectations, all my dreams, and everything else. And that's why it takes courage, because when you do that, you have no place to go but your heart. And it takes courage to do that. I mean, when I did that, I was at the height of patriarchal positions. And so I was like in the cabinet of state government. I was the vice chair of a $3 billion company and things like that. And I was also a member of some and founder of lots of organizations. And when I came to that point, I said, well, I'm going to quit every single thing that is in the patriarchy, including the 17 boards and councils I was a member of. And when I did that, I didn't plan my career for the first time in my life. And I didn't know what I was going to do. But that's when the magic happened. And that's when my inner self would tell me what I needed to do. And so that's what I was born for. My childhood traditional name at 4 years old, I was given the name of Kuya, which means like an arm extending out from the body, a messenger, a carrier of ancient knowledge into modern time. I didn't know what that meant until I had this awakening. And it's something that carried a lot of responsibility with it, because it's given to one person amongst my people in each lifetime. And I knew the last Kuya that was left alive amongst all my people in the Aleutian chain and Pribilof Island went looking for me and found me on St. Paul Island. And so we called each other Kuya. He gave me his name. And I am to be the last Kuya amongst my people forever. And the reason for that is that we are going to become non-existent as a human species during our lifetime, or we're going to change our consciousness. I got onto my knees and I was crying. I had cried for a month during this period of time. Every day, every night, I was crying, just crying. Then I finally got onto my knees. I said, okay, I surrender. I was so stubborn. We old souls were stubborn people. Every lifetime we're so stubborn. And finally I got onto my knees and I said, okay, I surrender. Do what you will with me. I will do what you tell me to do. And that was it. And that's all I had to do to get on my path. But that takes courage, because each of you are going to have this kind of courage to do what your heart is telling you to do. There is no other way. And you've got to wash out all these things that are illusion. And that's what this time is calling us to do.